Hello everyone, this is Gail Doherty from Beckwith Middle School, and this is the last segment of my workshop about Google Classroom Beyond the Basics, Tips and Tricks. This segment is about using a very popular free Chrome add-on called Cami. Just to be clear, there is a paid version of Cami called Cami Premium. This is only about the free one, which I believe most of the things that we would like to do in Cami, we can use the free tools. The first thing you need to do before you can use Cami is you need to install the free Cami Chrome add-on. Students can use the tool as well, so they can install the free Cami add-on too. So to install it, you need to go to your Chrome browser and install the Cami Chrome app first. So you would need to go to the Google Chrome store, look up the Chrome extension, and of course mine is already installed, so I just get prompted to remove it. So once you have it installed, you can go ahead and open it up by clicking on the icon, which I've already done over here. And it's prompting me to open something, open a document, or open a PDF, I should say, from either Google Drive, from my computer or device. Creating a Google Classroom, we can't really use that feature. So anyway, before you open a document, though, you really do need to create a folder. And what I did is I created a folder for my Cami uploads to keep them organized. If you don't have a folder, what can happen is you may not be able to keep track of them, and you may get confused between PDF documents that you cannot edit versus the PDF documents that you've brought into Cami to create that annotation feature. So it's best to create a folder, and you create a folder. We know how to do that already. So I'm in my Cami. I created mine, and I called it Cami Uploads. So once you have created that folder, you want to locate a PDF to edit. And I'm going to search for PDF documents. And I'm going to use this one, Graphing Stories. That's the one I want to bring into Cami. Okay, so here it is. So I've got the document in Cami, and now I am ready to make some changes. So once I've brought in a PDF into Cami, I can make some changes to the document here. I can add in text boxes. Anything that has a gold padlock is only available with the paid premium version. So I can add text boxes, I can use drawing, I can use shapes, I can use the eraser. So you can do many things with that. On this particular document, I wanted to show you this because you can put in something such as a text box here, and maybe I want to put something here. Oops, here we go. So I want to make a text box. Be sure to label each axis. That might be something a math teacher wants to remind their students to do. And I can highlight that text, and I can give it a different color to maybe make it more prominent. Okay, so I've made a change to it. I could make more changes, but really this is something where you might actually end up having the students use the drawing tool to draw a line graph on here or what have you. So now I want to save it, and I want to save it to my Cami Uploads folder. because that's the one I created before in my Google Drive. So I save it there. And now, see, it doesn't, the reason we made that separate Cami folder is because when you look at this, it just looks like a traditional PDF document, so you might not be able to tell looking at it quickly. Now I am ready to take that PDF document that I brought into Cami and then resaved to my Google Drive and my Cami uploads, and I want to make it into an assignment for my students. When your students open that assignment that you have put into Google Classroom and you've already brought it into Cami to convert it, when they open up that PDF document, it's actually going to prompt them to open it with Cami automatically. So it is important for you to show your students how to use Cami as well, which you can show them using this video. So let's go into the class. I'm going to go to classwork, and I'm going to create a new assignment, and I'm going to call this Math Graphing Cami Cami assignment. Oops. Okay, then I can add from my Google Drive, and it comes up here because of course I just used it. And I'm going to click on insert. There it is. Now, very important to keep in mind, you must make sure that you change this setting. So you are giving make a copy for each student. That way they will, and then you can assign it. When they open up the document, let me just show you something here. So open this up. Okay, there it says right here, open with Cami. So the students are prompted to open it with Cami, and then of course they need to know how to use these tools as well. So you can draw, you can make a shape. If I use the drawing tool, maybe I want to use red, and maybe I want to draw a graph. Obviously, you might not want a graph line that thick, but I think you can change that. I made it a little too thick. So maybe I want to make it thinner. So maybe I want to make it thinner and go like that. So there are many things they can do. Like I said, anything with the padlock is only available with Cami Premium. So you definitely want to show your students how to use the Cami before you assign something where you have actually converted it to Cami. I hope that helps you to see how easy it is. As you may or may not know, the other option in creating a PDF that is that can be edited is to save your PDF as an image file and then use a Google slide and insert that as a background on a Google slide, and then you can draw text boxes over that image file. That might be a little bit simpler in some respects because most students know how to use Google Slides already. Whereas this would be an additional thing for students to learn. However, I am planning for this school year, 2020-2021, to begin including that as part of my instruction in computer class for all grades. So I hope that this will be helpful to all of you. Thank you. Finally, the last segment I want to talk about are some additional resources that you may find helpful beyond this short workshop. Certainly if you have any questions, you can always email me, gdarmody@drregional.org. I am certainly more than happy to help, as most of my colleagues at Beckwith already know. I kind of became almost like a virtual help desk for questions with technology tools along the way during the closure this past spring. So the next thing I want to show you are those additional resources. And as you can see, I put a link to my Google Apps and Other Tutorials webpage that I have updated over the summer. to include more recent tutorials that include the latest and greatest tools. These are just screenshots of what some of the things on here that you may be interested in. Of particular interest, this we did have last year, but this one is a brand new tutorial that was made about 2 months ago maybe. This educator has created a phenomenal tutorial how to use Google Classroom for parents and for students. And it really walks through everything. I highly recommend it. And then, of course, there are some other student tutorials as well, and also a great short tutorial about using the to-do feature in Google Classroom for students. So if you click on this link and it takes you to this page, and this is where you go here, digital literacy, Google Apps and other tutorials, and then you can scroll down. I probably have way too much information on here, but here's the Google Classroom information. And then if you continue to go down, there's that parent tutorial. And then, of course, there's Google Meet, and there are many other tutorials as well. Screencast-O-Matic, Screencastify, Google Drive, so on and so forth. And then the Cami is actually way down because that's an add-on. Jamboard. Okay, here's the Cami. These are included in the presentation, but they're here as well. And finally, I do have I have my YouTube channel, and on my YouTube channel I have several different playlists of videos. Some videos I've created myself, others I've found on the internet. But if you click here, this actually takes you directly to my Google Classroom YouTube video playlist, and you can see that I have many here that you may find helpful that were not necessarily included in this workshop. And if you want to see my other libraries, you can see that I have many here that you may find helpful. So I hope that you have found this helpful. I tried to include enough information that it is in fact beyond the basics of Google Classroom, but not so much to overwhelm you. But I intentionally created the Google Slideshow along with the video tutorials to try to give you something that you can refer back to later on if you don't remember how to do something, and also attending to all learning styles, visual, audio, so on and so forth. So I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching my presentation.